BBC News at 9 o'clock. Good morning, I'm Nathan Turvey. There are concerns among some anti-fracking campaigners that their fight isn't over, despite a company planning to carry out the controversial technique in North Yorkshire announcing that it's shelving its plans to do it. Here is one of the campaigners.
We are glad there's a moratorium, but we are also very sceptical, and we are all very on high alert watching how things pan out and the developments that happen.
Third Energy got planning permission 4 years ago to carry out the process of drilling for shale gas at its site at Kirkby Misperton in Rydale. Since then, protesters have climbed onto lorries and blockaded the entrance, with dozens of people being arrested. But the company says it now wants to concentrate on greener ways of producing energy. Here's Sue Goff again, who took part in the protests.
It's difficult because while we're not sure what's happening, there is always that anxiety, and it does affect the community. People are worried about it.
And Jonathan will have more reaction to this after the news.
Yeah, do let me know your thoughts when you consider all the energy and the passion that went into protests against fracking. Is today a day of celebration or a day of a great big question mark? The company behind the plans to frack for shale gas in Rydale says it's shelved its plans. Third Energy got the go-ahead 4 years ago to carry out this, I think it's fair to say, controversial process at Kirkby Misperton. Sean Zablocki from the company spoke after a county council meeting yesterday.
Yes, at the moment we do not have any plans for hydraulic fracturing. There's a clear moratorium in place, and we are just clearly focused on our conventional business, developing the company, the infrastructure we have, and hopefully moving forwards to help with, as I mentioned in my speech in there, moving towards helping the country with its net zero 2050 plans.
Well, Mike Kemp, BBC Radio Yorkshire reporter, who's been following this story blow by blow, moment by moment, right from the start, is in Kirkby Misperton for us again this morning. Good morning, Mike. Remind us how we got to this point.
Well, as you say, it's nearly 4 years since Third Energy was given permission by North Yorkshire County Council to frack at its well just outside here at Kirkby Misperton. But so far, it's all come to nothing. There were protests outside the site, dozens of people were arrested, and then Third Energy packed up and left after it failed to get government approval to go ahead because of concerns over its long-term financial resilience. In the meantime, Quadrilla started fracking in Lancashire, but after a large earth tremor last year, operations ceased there, and the government has imposed an indefinite moratorium on fracking until the industry can prove it can frack in a safe and sustainable way. So it's decided to concentrate on its conventional gas operations in Rydale.
So, Mike, what more do we know then about Third Energy's plans? Has there been any expansion whatsoever of the full picture behind this announcement?
Well, there was a county council planning meeting yesterday to discuss Third Energy's operations in the Vale of York. I mean, it has a gas plant at Knapton, and it has other conventional gas wells in Rydale. The company said it wanted to take a more environmentally friendly approach, greener uses for its existing conventional gas operation, and one option is to look at a combined heat and power project with local businesses. County councillors at that meeting did vote to allow Third Energy to continue its operations until 2035. Well, with me now is Steve Mason, a Liberal Democrat district councillor in Rydale. Let's start with this fracking first. Is Third Energy shelving it, abandoning it, or what do you think?
I think the government putting the moratorium in place has pushed them into a position that it doesn't make business sense to pursue fracking at the moment. If they can't guarantee the safety and sustainability of it, there's no point pursuing it as a business case. I don't believe fracking as we know it is going to come back anytime soon. The problem is the definition of fracking. That's where the confusion lies, and it's a bit technical, but there'll still be work happening to tie up the loose ends around the moratorium, I think.
So while the moratorium is in place, Third Energy is obviously looking at, obviously it has to run a business, it's got to make money, looking at greener uses. I mean, what do you make of this sort of approach?
I welcome it. Yeah, we have to welcome it. I mean, we've campaigned for a long time to try and go green, I suppose is the best word to use. And as a local councillor, I think the first thing I'll be doing is sending an email to Third Energy saying, right, okay, how can we help you go green? Because there's opportunity there to go green. I mean, for instance, at Knapton, they've got the access to the grid. Maybe put a 50 megawatt solar plant down at Knapton, for instance. That's a good start, and it sounds like a good business plan.
Third Energy are under new owners now since last summer when they were taken over, and obviously a new approach perhaps. But fracking is never going to go away, is it? Because obviously apart from Third Energy, which has permission here, obviously a number of other companies, Quadrilla and Ineos amongst them, do have these licenses to explore the potential for fracking. So there is always that opportunity for them to do fracking. Do you think that will happen? I mean, you said no, but do you think?
Currently, I think they're going to try, obviously. I mean, I know the government has said that they don't intend to do any new surveying to try and make fracking safe. It's not government policy to help the companies. They have to prove it themselves. My worry is they'll use exploration as a cover to try and gather evidence. That's one way they might go, but yeah, I genuinely think at the moment, fracking as we understand it in the Infrastructure Act won't be coming back any time soon, because I genuinely don't think they can guarantee they can't cause earthquakes. It's as simple as that.
For a community like Kirby Misverton, which has lived with this for 4 years and longer, what does it mean? I mean, there's still uncertainty though, isn't there? There
is uncertainty. It's disappointing that 17 years seems a remarkably long time to get extensions on fossil fuel extraction in Rydale. And yes, if there's a change of government or change of mind in government, then yes, the uncertainty is there. But living in the area, it's so much more peaceful, and the community starting to build again together. So I mean, if Third Energy's plans are to go green and work with the community, living in the area, let's have the chat. As simple as that. Because if we can build something together for the benefit of the community in general, and keep it low carbon, keep it green, but provide energy for the local community, let's talk.
Third Energy have been here a long time under different guises and different names, so there is a sort of a local base for them. Do you want that conversation though? That's important to have that conversation between the community and Third Energy.
I think it's vital. It's our responsibility as a campaign to talk to them and basically to see how serious they are about it. I mean, we'll have to look at the plans, and we'll have to look at what the applications that go in to decide. But as a frack-free campaign to campaign against fracking as defined in the Infrastructure Act, at the moment it's a watching brief.
So, fracking, it's such a controversial subject and won't ever go away. Do you think, though, we're all talking about this indefinite moratorium, we don't know if this ban's going to be lifted. Do you want the government to be clear about the future now? Do you think they should just simply draw a line under it rather than allow this sort of uncertainty to continue?
Yeah, I mean, the question was asked in Parliament yesterday by a Conservative MP down in another fracking licence area, and the Minister said, yes, well, maybe we should just draw a line under it. The Conservatives won't ban anything. It's not within their nature to ban anything. But I think the restrictions that are in place at the moment are they're pretty solid, I think. That's my feeling. A few people in the campaign think, yeah, that's a trust issue with the government, but we're always going to have that. But speaking to some of the sort of stakeholders in this, I think that for the time being, that from fracking at least we're pretty safe. From the other techniques, who knows? There's other ways and means around this, and there's potential flouting of the rules, possibly by the companies. But at the moment, see what they plan to come up with. That means the potential rules by the companies.
So after all the protests we saw here, after all the arrests, the big police operation, the lorries coming in, and everything that went on outside the main gates, the camp that existed up near the main road that the protesters had set up, and obviously all that's gone. But today you feel more encouraged than perhaps 3 or 4 years, or 2 or 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah, there's an element of apprehension in my mind still, because obviously we've been dealing with this for 4 years, and it's been smoke and mirrors for quite a lot. Not necessarily from the company here, but more or less from people like you, Coog, and those people. But I do think that now, if the company are talking up green solutions, we've got to at least give them a chance to pitch to us and as a community and say, OK, let's see what you've got.
Liberal Democrat District Councillor in Ryde. Thank you very much indeed. And Jonathan, as I'm sure you're aware, this, despite an indefinite moratorium on fracking in this country, I'm sure this debate will continue for many years yet.
Mike, thank you very much indeed. Our apologies for some of the slight technical gremlins that getting into the system there and scrambling the odd word here and there. But I hope you heard the vast majority of it loud and clear and certainly got the gist of it.